Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. My name's Suze Nethercutt. I'm a long-time professional artist and of late a part-time Masters by Research student in visual art. I've been away a little bit longer than expected because I've had a few deadlines and professional opportunities come up that have kept me busy. So I'm happy to be back to share with you this beautiful visit I did in autumn to my parents' property in northeast Victoria. I absolutely love visiting my parents' property, and if you've been here for a while, you'd know that I particularly love drawing the trees on this piece of land. It's a really interesting mixture of trees of Northern Hemisphere origin that my parents have planted over the years, and also of native Australian trees. So it's a really interesting landscape, and one that is really common in Australia, this mixing of introduced species and also the native trees. I've been spending a lot of time with these native trees of late and absolutely love exploring the bark and the beautiful textures and colours that you get on eucalyptus trees in Australia. As you can see here, they just are so gorgeous and crunchy and textured, and I absolutely have been loving painting the bark in a series of paintings that I'm doing called Skin on Skin for my masters. So I absolutely love going and visiting my parents' property because it's in the country and I can walk around and there's some really, really beautiful old established eucalyptus trees. There's lots of conifers on my parents' property as well, and there's always lots of changes with the trees here too. I would have shown you this very area through summer when I was sketching the trees I grew up with. That video is a little bit back if you want to check it out. And discovered on this visit that a limb had fallen off another tree and destroyed one of the beautiful trees that I'd drawn. So I was so glad that I had actually captured that. You can see here a beautiful spotted gum, which I've been wanting to draw on my parents' property for a really long time. I have so many gorgeous photographs of this tree, so I really wanted to get out and spend some time on this trip drawing this tree. So I've brought a couple of different supplies with me, and I'm going to have a little bit of a sketching day where I am going to try a couple of different approaches with drawing this tree. So I've brought with me my Caran d'Ache water-soluble wax pastels, the Neocolor 2s, which I absolutely love. They're so versatile and I always get great results out of them. But I've also brought with me my R&F drawing oils, which are relatively new medium to me. So before I start to sketch a tree, I really like to touch the tree, to walk around it, to get to know it a little bit. I like to smell its leaves and just really welcome the opportunity to connect with the tree, because half of the joy more than half of the joy of sketching trees in nature is that you can have a really profound and deep connection with nature in a way that just leaves you feeling so good. But I find that it is necessary to make that conscious effort to really connect in and meet the tree with your skin. So I'm starting off with drawing this tree with the Neocolor 2s. I've got my sketchbook with toned paper, which is my favourite. It's a sand-coloured paper and it's very close to the linen that I like to paint on as well, so I use it quite frequently for my sketching. And I'm just jumping on in and using a few beautiful colours to reflect the gorgeous tones and textures in the spotted gum. You would have seen in the close-up footage that a spotted gum has a fantastic pattern of bark on it, and it is so uniquely Australian and unique to that type of variety of eucalypt. I'm having a very big deep dive into different barks as part of my masters, and I'm making a series of paintings about bark, so it wouldn't be complete if I didn't do this spotted gum. This tree is also one of my father's favourite trees on my parents' property. He always very proudly shows it to me every time we're walking around the property and points it out and tells me how much he loves this tree. And so I've come to associate the tree with my dad. And so capturing this tree is something that's intertwined with my love for my dad and my love for this piece of land. So you can see me here, I'm just working with a few different neutral colours to capture the shapes and textures found in the bark. And I really love working on the toned paper because it kind of does half the job for me. Because it's not white paper, I find that you don't have to be filling in as much area to get your value contrast right. So it's always a joy to work on this paper. There's always so much birdsong on my parents' property to listen to and enjoy while I'm there. And I actually notice it even more when I'm editing these videos and I get to listen back to the beautiful birdsong that is constantly in play when I'm working outside there. There's a beautiful whiteness to the bark of the spotted gum. The spots are actually created by the bark peeling off the tree and leaving the white exposed bark underneath, which is incredibly smooth. And they're just so beautiful. You can see me here just getting out a wet wipe. And I'm going to use that to emulsify the Neocolor 2 a little bit and to just create a beautiful, smooth running texture of the pigments so that they blend a little bit together but are not too emulsified, so that they maintain the integrity of their mark that you get with a drawing medium. This has become one of my favourite ways to work in capturing bark, and I absolutely love it. So I'm going to stop here and have a little break so that I can let that layer just dry a little bit before I continue working, which is never a problem on my parents' property because it was autumn when I was visiting and there was so much beautiful autumn colour around that I spent lots of hours just wandering around their garden and enjoying all of the beautiful deciduous trees and the divine colours that come off in the leaves. These are Manchurian pears, which are particularly beautiful in colour in autumn. They also have some really significant, beautiful flowering trees like this Gardenia magnifica, and they have lots of birdhouses around because my parents love birds and spend a lot of time sitting outside enjoying the birds. Autumn is absolutely one of my favourite times to come and visit the Northeast. It's famed for its autumn colour, so I make sure I come every year. Now that my first layer is dry, I'm just coming back to add in a few more details. Still working with the Neocolor 2s and really wanting to bring out the white in that bark. I don't know about any of you, but I am forever snapping my Neocolor 2s in the middle. I'm constantly having to repair them with a piece of masking tape. I've come to really love the Neocolor 2s for capturing trees. I've really gotten into them, particularly since my artist residency back in January. They are just so quick and easy to use to capture details. You can even get those light watercolorish effects when you work with them with water. They're just such a versatile medium, and I've come to really love them. I have loved them for a long time and used them for a long time, but yeah, they're just fantastic to travel with. You can see here I'm just emulsifying those gum leaves a little bit on the bottom of the tree. Now getting to the end of this particular drawing. Pretty happy with how this one turned out. I feel like I know the Neocolors really well, and I find them pretty easy to work with. I had to just show you this little moment of kookaburras singing in the tree. There's such a unique Australian sound. My parents have this beautiful ornamental grapevine that wraps around their veranda, which turns an absolutely gorgeous shade of red as it turns in autumn. It's such an incredibly peaceful time of year to be here in autumn. And it was also quite warm, so it was still great to get out and draw and spend some time working outside. I love the contrast between all the russet coloured browns and reds with the greens that are turning to yellow. It's such a beautiful contrast of colours. Getting back to my spotted gum now. Just getting in a few extra details before I put this picture aside and move on to another approach, which is with the R&F drawing oils. So I have an ash pad here that is specifically for oils that I'm going to use for this drawing. It's got white paper, which is not my favourite to work with, but nevertheless we're going to do it. So I'm just choosing out a couple of colours of the RNF. I don't have nearly the variety of colour in this collection yet that I have in the Neocolors, so I'm kind of just having to work with what I've got, and I would like to add a few more colours to my collection in the near future. I'm working with gloves with the RNF oils because they are a little bit messy. And you can see me here just getting down some of that very neutral titanium and then getting in there with some of the dark colours for the spotted bark on the trunk. I'm still getting used to the RNF oils. They're very different to the Neocolors. They don't let me get in the same amount of detail and kind of force me to be more expressive with my marks and to simplify things, which I really like that they force me to do that, but I wouldn't say that I'm comfortable with that process yet. So I'm still kind of getting to know them and trying to cut myself a bit of slack in terms of I'm not 100% happy with the results I'm getting out of them yet, but I'm keeping on working with them because I can see their potential. It's just that I think I'm still figuring out how to best use them and blend them and get the best effects. So on this trip, I actually tried quite a few different approaches with it and was just getting to know how they would behave. I also brought with me a small container of solvent. The solvent that I've been using, I'm really liking actually. It's called Solvent 75 and it's made by Langridge, which is a paint company in Australia, in Melbourne. And yeah, I've used this before to play with kind of turning the pastels into a bit of a paint so that I'm able to get a similar blending effect to what I'm working with the Neocolors. But it didn't really work in the way I wanted it to in this particular drawing. So I felt like this was a bit of a practice run and ended up a little bit messy and heavy-handed because of using the solvent. My dad always has something incredible to show me in the garden when I come, and this time around it was this gorgeous red-tipped gum with these incredible eucalyptus blossoms. Amazing. They have a red cap that they pop off when they come into blossom, and they're just so vibrant and gorgeous. Then it was time to settle in and make a second drawing with the RNF oils. Sometimes I think the only solution to figuring out a new supply is just to work prolifically and make a few different drawings. And look, I didn't have a lot of art making time on this particular trip. It was really only these 3 drawings that I ended up making. But I learned a lot, and I am excited with the potential of the oils, particularly in larger works on linen, and I'm going to really look forward to exploring them further in the studio for some of the larger works in my master's exhibition. I felt like I did a little bit better in this second drawing with the drawing oils, but again, wasn't overly satisfied. I think part of the problem also was that I don't have quite the colour selection that I needed to make the drawing I really wanted to make, so I might have to stock up on a few more so that I can have a little bit more of a play around with these, because I do really like them and I am most excited about using them as a mixed media tool to add into paintings. So these are the 3 works I ended up making. I probably prefer the Neocolor 2 one the best, probably because it's on that background that I prefer with the sand coloured paper. But before I knew it, it was time to pack up and head home. So this is a much shorter and simpler vlog than I've been making up until now on the channel. But because it had been so long since I had posted anything, I thought I'm just going to edit this little snippet up and give it to you. I think it's a lovely, peaceful little moment in nature. So I hope that you've enjoyed it, and I will be back soon with a more fulsome vlog about where I'm up to in the Masters. I've been writing a lot lately, so I haven't had a lot of art footage to show you, but I have been thinking about some other things that I might talk to you about in a future vlog. So please do let me know if you have ideas for what you're most interested in hearing from me about what I'm up to in my Masters at the moment. And yeah, thanks so much for being here, and don't forget to like and subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll catch you next time. Thanks guys. Bye.